How you doing?
How you doing?
Good. I guess you got to pay your bill.
I'm about to get the guy who's gonna pay it.
Who's the guy?
Steven Smith.
Okay, where's he at?
I'm about to go get him right now.
You can't leave the restaurant.
You can identify yourself and let them know who you are, but you can't leave without it.
So
Let's walk back inside and we'll talk in there.
let's talk.
No, we're talking right here. Hey, we're talking right here.
How much?
Hey, Jeff.
I was just about to say, how much did you receive? Can I give something as collateral?
Your ID.
No.
And then
If I can give ID, can I give a key?
this isn't a negotiation.
It is.
No, you got to
Let me
pay your
explain
bill.
something. It is not.
It is.
No, you're wrong.
So what
Not
I'm
so.
saying is,
It is
what
not.
I'm saying is, I just saw him.
Sending
It doesn't
you that
matter.
to
What you're saying now doesn't matter.
Yeah, but just,
This is not our first day here.
I understand that.
You have enjoyed a product
I have.
and you haven't paid for it.
I have. And
No, there's
It
no
will be
and.
paid.
There's
It
no
will be
anything else.
paid.
There's no anything else and
you
nothing.
got Alex in here.
All right, let's talk about this for a second because something about this whole situation just doesn't sit right. You ever watch something and within the first few seconds, you're like, nah, something's off here. And that's exactly what this feels like. So I'm watching this guy, right? Calm, cool, collected, almost too calm. And at first glance, you might even think, okay, maybe he's got a point. Maybe there's some misunderstanding. Maybe the restaurant messed up. That's what it looks like on the surface. But then you actually pay attention to what's happening and it starts to fall apart real quick because this guy walks into a PF Chang's at an airport, sits down, orders food, eats the whole meal, enjoys the service, and then suddenly there's no money, no wallet, no nothing. And instead of owning that, instead of just being upfront like, hey, I messed up, I forgot my wallet, he starts spinning this whole story. And this is where it gets interesting because he's not loud. He's not aggressive. He's not acting out. He's calm. He's talking smooth. He's trying to make it sound reasonable. Like, let me go grab my friend. I got people. I'll be right back. Let's be real for a second. You are in an airport. This isn't like you're down the street from your house, and this isn't like you're in your neighborhood where your buddy could just pull up real quick. Airports are controlled environments. You got security terminals, baggage claim, rental cars. It's not casual. You don't just step out and come back like you're running to your car. So already that excuse doesn't add up. And here's the bigger issue. This didn't start as a mistake because if it was a mistake, you would have said that from the jump. You would have told the server before ordering, before eating, before finishing the meal. But that's not what happened. He went through the entire process, sat down, ordered food, ate the food, didn't tip, didn't pay, and then waited until the very end to start to explain himself. And from my perspective, that doesn't look like forgetfulness. That looks like intention. Now you got airport police involved, which is a completely different situation than your average restaurant down the street. Because in a normal city spot, maybe someone dines and dashes and the restaurant has to check cameras or file a report and hope something happens later. But at the airport, the response is immediate. Security is already there. Law enforcement is already on site. And you don't get to just walk off and disappear. So now instead of just dealing with a bill, you've escalated this into something bigger. And what does he do? He tries to finesse. He starts talking in circles, starts creating distractions. Oh, he's right there. Oh, he's right there. Starts pushing this idea that somehow the solution is for the police to let him go wander off and find somebody to cover the bill like they're supposed to trust that. That's why he said this ain't our first day on the job. And this is where it really doesn't add up because now it's not just about the money anymore. It's about responsibility. You created the situation. You made the decision to sit down and eat without having a way to pay. And now you're trying to shift that responsibility onto everyone else in the room, the restaurant, the staff, even the police. Nah, at some point, there's got to be accountability. And from my perspective, what this actually looks like is someone trying to play the system, staying calm to make it seem reasonable and hoping people just go along with it. But calm doesn't mean right. And in this case, calm looks a whole lot like manipulation. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's continue.
I'm just letting you know. What's your first name?
Look, go.
No,
Okay.
won't be doing that either.
Go get him.
Nope.
So
Won't be
he
that.
owes $50-something. He's trying to leave the bar without paying. He said he's got a buddy. And his buddy is nowhere here. He's arguing. And
Doesn't work
he doesn't pay his bill. He said he's got a buddy down there who's going to help him pay the bill. But
Where's your buddy
no
at?
buddy down there.
Because I still got to get in contact with him.
So you don't have a friend here, do you? Nah, we don't. We
Yeah,
both
you do.
know that. You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have many.
Do you have one here to pay your bill? Oh, cool.
Y'all get them? He'll come here. That's true. That's what I'm saying. Let me go get my friend.
No,
No, go get him. Go get him. He'll come pay it, and I'll walk out. I refuse to get that.
Okay, so listen before you say anything else. All right, listen to me. No. Listen to me.
Hold on.
If, I'm gonna work with you if you work with me. All right. So there.
I have the receipt, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know how much it costs.
Okay.
It costs
Whatever it costs.
whatever it costs.
Okay.
It will get paid.
Okay.
I told him that before I ate anything. I said, look, I have a friend. Him.
Okay.
I said, look, I have a friend who, once I'm finished eating, he's gonna come pay for it, and we're gonna be good. Is that all right?
Okay.
He said, yes, I'll take your word for it. Then he said, do I need a license? I said, no, I'm not gonna give you my license, but you can have my key. Because if you have my key, I can't drive away.
Okay.
He said, okay, I'll take your word for it. Went back. They served me the food. I'm eating the food. So I'm upholding my part, uphold his part.
Okay.
So y'all should get on him.
let's correct it because you're just not going to talk. You're not upholding your
But
part. You're not
hold
paying
on,
your
hold
bill.
on. I don't want to hear.
Well, it doesn't matter what you want. What are you in the airport for? Why are you here?
I'm flying now.
Where?
Where's your ticket?
Don't have one.
Okay, you have no business here.
No, they're gonna give it to me when I.
So pretty much you came here to rip the place off, get a free meal out of it.
No,
and
they
then take off. Am I right?
Look, that's off topic.
That's what?
That's off topic.
That's the only topic.
So y'all can escort me.
No. We're not gonna escort you anywhere.
Hold on.
Listen, you're not gonna determine what happens here.
Or-
No, you either gonna pay this bill.
I can stay right here.
Okay.
Y'all go get him
Okay.
because I'm upholding my part.
Okay.
He need to
No,
uphold his.
that's not our responsibility to do that. Okay. You came to this business to eat, and you have to pay what you have to pay. Now, if you let me talk, we can work with you. But you keep talking over me.
Now, let's break this down in plain English because this is where it really starts to make sense when you look at what this actually looks like in real life. If the situation is as simple as he's trying to make it sound, then the solution should be simple too. Think about it. If you really have a friend that can help you out, why aren't you calling them? Why aren't you pulling out your phone and saying, "Hey, I messed up. Can you come here real quick, handle this real quick, Apple Pay me," whatever the case may be. That's what normal people do. We all been in situations where we forgot something or came up short, and the first thing you do is reach out and fix it. You don't stand there talking in circles trying to convince everybody in a room to let you walk off and go figure it out later. That's not how real life works. And this is where it doesn't add up. He's doing a whole lot of explaining, but not a whole lot of solving. There's a difference. Talking doesn't fix the bill. Words don't pay for the food, and action does. So when you see somebody doing more talking than solving, you got to ask yourself, what's really going on here? Because from my perspective, if you actually had a real solution, you would use it immediately. You wouldn't hesitate. You wouldn't need to convince anyone. You'll just make the call, put the phone on speaker if you have to, and handle it right there. But instead, he's trying to control the situation with conversation. He's trying to guide the outcome without actually taking responsibility, which comes off with the perception of delusion taking place. And this is something people see every day, not just in restaurants, but in regular life. Think about cities like New York or Chicago, where small businesses are already dealing with theft, people walking out on bills and rising costs. These businesses operate on tight margins. One unpaid bill might not seem like a big deal to some people, but when it happens over and over again, it adds up. It affects workers. It affects tips. It affects whether that business can even stay open. So when someone comes in, eats a full meal, then tries to talk their way out of paying instead of actually fixing the problem, it hits differently. It's not just a mistake at that point. It becomes a pattern of behavior that people are tired of dealing with. And again, let's be real. Everybody has a phone. You mean to tell me you can record, you can talk, you can explain, but you can't make one simple call? That's where people start to lose patience, because now it's not about whether you can pay. It's about whether you're willing to take responsibility in that moment. And what this actually looks like is someone avoiding the most obvious solution, because the goal isn't really to solve the problem. It's to get out of the situation. And those are two very different things.
Listen, you keep talking over me and we're not going to get anywhere.
I negotiated.
Right? We're not negotiating
with
anything.
The manager. The manager agrees.
I don't care about the manager. You're talking to me right now. Okay, I'm telling you what's going to happen.
You're not telling me.
I am telling you, because if you refuse to pay this bill, you're going to jail tonight.
I never said I was going to refuse.
Okay, so if you let me talk,
let me talk.
No, if you let me talk, I'm not going to let you talk because you're not listening to me.
So
The manager said that he told him that he gave him this stuff. He said that his friend was bringing everything here.
Yeah, to pay the bill. So, but if you let me speak, we can figure this out. Here's what I'm willing to do. If you're gonna go look for your friend, you're gonna keep talking over me. I'm just gonna shut up and we're gonna deal with the other way.
Talk with him.
I'm not talking with him. I'm talking with you. Are you gonna listen to me?
Talk with him.
No, I'm not talking with him. No.
Talk with
If
him.
you want to find your friend,
talk with him.
No.
I made a deal with him, not you.
I don't care what you made a deal with him or not.
And I don't care what you got to do with
Well, you should. You really should.
I don't.
All right. Well, so you're listen. As
him.
of right now, you're not free to leave. You're gonna stay right here. Okay.
Talk with him.
You understand that?
Talk with him.
You're not free to leave, so stay right here. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
131.
Hey.
All right, well, he's getting arrested, so.
Confirmed that.
All right, so you guys going to have to prosecute now because he's under arrest.
All right.
We're prosecuting. What changed? I was on the phone. What changed?
He went to go talk to him and told him not to go anywhere, and then he started walking away.
Perfect.
So we're about to go move him back over here.
Yeah, he's being detained and he's trying to leave.
I mean, the right thing to keep guessing.
Y'all gonna put me on my flight to Senegal?
No. Yeah, you're not letting me get it.
That's the only reason I came here for.
You came to eat too, and you didn't pay for it.
I did come to eat too.
Yeah.
It was it wasn't good actually.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you got to pay when you come in, or you got to have ready.
Or you have to communicate, which I did.
No,
So on my
I wish
part,
you weren't mistaken so badly.
I did what was on my part.
You have a car ranger?
Yeah.
What's the deal? Are we? You have charges or?
Yeah, he said.
They're gonna press charges.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Hello.
Dine.
So we need to know before we continue on with what we're doing here. If you guys are not going to press charges, then we're not going to do anything about it. Okay. If you're going to press charges, then we can get them for theft. But that's totally up to you guys. We don't have the authority to prosecute. Alrighty. Oh, here you go. Just let me know what's going to happen.
27 patrol status.
Now, let's take it a step further because this is where the bigger picture comes in. From my perspective, this is the kind of situation where a lot of people would say, yeah, I would have arrested him right there. And honestly, credit to the officer in this situation because he showed a lot of patience. He didn't escalate it. He didn't just jump straight to force. He gave this guy time to explain himself, and that matters. But at the same time, you got to ask, how far does that patient goes before accountability actually kicks in? Because think about what this looks like. Who goes to an airport, walks into a restaurant, orders a full meal, and has no way to pay for it? And I mean, no plan at all. No money, no car, no clear explanation, nothing. Then on top of that, look at the situation itself. You are in the airport, but you're not traveling. No bags, no luggage, no ticket in hand, no sense of where you're going. You're just there hanging out, walking into restaurants like it's a food court at the mall. And that's where it starts to raise real questions. Airports are structured environments. People are there for a reason, catching flights, picking people up, working. It's not a place you just wing it with no resources and no plan. So when you see something like this, it's not just about one unpaid meal anymore. It's about the pattern of behavior and what it signals. And this is where the broader conversation comes in, because from a constitutional perspective, we talk a lot about rights, and rightfully so. We value freedom. We value due process. We value fair treatment under the law, but those rights come with responsibilities. The system only works when people operate in good faith. When you walk into a business, there's an understanding. You receive a service. You pay for that service. That's basic. That's not political. That's just how society functions. Now, to be fair, there are people who will say, maybe he was down bad. Maybe he didn't have the money. Maybe he needed help. And that's a real thing. There are people struggling. There are systems and charities designed to help with that. But this doesn't look like someone asking for help. This looks like someone taking advantage of a situation and then trying to talk their way out of it after the fact. And that's the difference. One is honesty, the other is manipulation. And when you blur that line, it creates frustration, not just for businesses, but for everyday people who follow the rules, because now it feels like accountability is optional depending on how well you can explain yourself. And that's where people start to lose trust in the system. So yeah, while the officers show patience, and that's a good thing, there's also a point where the situation has to be called for what it is. You can't normalize behavior like this and expect things to function properly. Because if everyone decided just to walk in places, take what they want, and figure it out later, the system breaks down real fast.
Yeah, talk to my lawyer.
We're past that.
Okay.
Feel
I'm
where
not going to show you again. Lean against the car.
Feel where you want to feel.
Stop. Lean forward and relax.
Feel where you want to feel.
Good. Get inside the car for me.
Yeah, that part.
Watch your head getting in.
Put it on. There you go. Teamwork makes the dream work. Let's see. Let's go.
Oh,
Is she here right now?
I think so. I would assume. No, this the waiter. or the bartender, whoever it is. I don't think it was him. It was it might have been somebody else here. Hey, who was the waiter that? Okay. Yeah. So were you the waiter for
Yeah.
for him? Okay. Can you just tell me what happened?
Basically, exactly what he was saying to you guys. He was just repeating the same thing to me. He sat down and he said that guy from the NBA, this reporter guy that he was talking to, was coming back to pay for his food.
Okay.
So he sits down, he goes, I want the most expensive drink, I want the most expensive food. And that's basically what
Okay.
me and George talked to. We're like, hey.
So did he told you that before you ordered the food that someone was going to come and pay
Yes,
for it?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Clearly, I don't think that's happening because I try to even give him a chance to go find this person, but he wasn't having it. So
No, but Joel even asked him for his ID. He was
yeah.
like,
So that's
"Give
what we
my
were gonna
key."
do. I said, hey, look, that was what I was gonna say. Is hey, give me your ID. We'll go walk, find this guy. Because sometimes it's people are telling the truth, but he didn't want to do that either. So this is my corporal right here. Is my supervisor. He's gonna give you a piece of paper. Just write down exactly what you told me on there, and we're gonna use that as a.
And this is the part people don't really talk about enough. They actually tried to work with him. He didn't want to work with them. That's the key detail. This wasn't a situation where the restaurant just jumped straight to calling the police. They gave him a chance to fix it, to explain it, to handle it like an adult. And instead of meeting them halfway, he kept dragging it out, kept talking, kept trying to control the situation instead of resolving it. And here's what a lot of people don't understand. This doesn't just disappear. This doesn't just fall into some corporate loss bucket where nobody feels it. A lot of times this comes out of someone's paycheck, your server, your bartender, the people actually working there. They can end up taking a hit for that bill. So now it's not just about one guy trying to get over. It's about someone else paying the price for it at the end of the night. Think about that in real life. Somebody worked their shift, did their job, served your food, and now they're the ones stuck dealing with the consequences because you didn't handle your responsibility. And that's where people get frustrated. And honestly, that frustration makes sense. And then on top of that, he starts making these claims about some guy from the NBA or somebody coming to pay for the meal. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that's true. Even then, why would you go anywhere without having your own situation handled first? That's basic. That's common sense. You don't rely on a maybe when it comes to paying for something you already received, in this case, a service. Here's a real world way to look at it. There are women who go on dates and still make sure they have money to cover their own meal. And just in case things go left, right? And the man walk out and dupes the date and basically ghosts her, act like he's going to the bathroom, but she still is paid for it anyway. And the guy may be considered corny or whack to her because he could have just said, look, I'm not really feeling this, pay his part, but he left her with the whole bill. But my whole point is, there are women that go on dates and get ghosted and still have money to cover the meal, plus the person who left, unfortunately. And just in case cases go left and they don't want to stay in that situation. That's called being prepared. That's called taking responsibility for yourself no matter what happens. So if people are doing that in everyday situation, what's the excuse here? From my perspective, this whole situation comes down to accountability. Not emotion, not excuses, not how calm someone sounds when they're explaining it. Just accountability. You made a choice, now you deal with the outcome. That's how things are supposed to work if you want any kind of order in society. But I want to hear from you because maybe you see it differently. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you in the next one, family. Peace.